Power is supposed to be a responsibility, but for many leaders, it has become an identity. Today, we are looking at how leaders fall in love with power, but slowly lose touch with reality. This is not in theory, it is in practice, it is in reality. We have seen this in many countries, we have seen it in many continents that leaders love power and they slowly lose what is the reality. Every leader begins the same way with legitimacy. They win elections, they survive crises, and they also say the right things at the right time, especially at the beginning of their tenures. The crowd cheers, the media praises, and their supporters defend everything. And slowly, something dangerous happens. The leader begins to confuse support with his infallibility. He begins to feel that he does no wrong, he can never do any wrong. At this stage, his advisors become fans. Criticism becomes hatred, and, and the opposition becomes the enemy of the state. Power feels good, really good, and the leader wants more of it. Every leader wants more power, you know. And this is where the problem starts. Leaders don't isolate themselves, they are isolated. They are isolated for them because the people begin to see that, oh, this man knows it all. So they begin to withdraw, they begin to pull away, pull out. And you know what happens at this time? Bad news is filtered, hard truths are softened, and only loyal voices remain around. The leader wants to hear only the good side of himself. He doesn't want to be told what is not in his interest. Quite soon, the leader is only hearing about himself. He is no longer hearing about the state, about the country. He only wants to hear the echoes of his larger than life status. And when everyone stops asking questions, when everyone is only saying yes, yes, leader, yes, sir, you've stopped getting the right feedback. You've stopped hearing about the country. You stop hearing about the people you are leading. And that's the most dangerous trend. And that's also the time when power stops being a tool. It becomes a mirror for the leader to look at himself and smile into the mirror and say, oh, I am handsome. I'm a good leader. My people love me because no one is there to tell him the truth. That is actually ugly, ugly in the faces and minds of the people. Another thing also happens. The leader begins to think that, well, I'm everything. I'm the system, and the system is me. And if I leave, everything will collapse. He begins to think that, well, I'm the law. I am the law. So if I leave, the state collapses. That's another dangerous trend. And also at this time, institutions of state become for his convenience. He does what he wants. Of course, he has the power to appoint, to hire, and fire. So those who control the institutions on his behalf must do his bidding. The Constitution is also just there. No one really cares what the law says, what the Constitution says, because the leader is actually the Constitution. He does what pleases him. And also at this time, the leader no longer serves the system. The system actually serves him. And that means reality is now optional. Power is addictive. It is addictive. It intoxicates because power removes consequences. It rewards loyalty and punishes dissent. You dare not raise a finger. The finger may not remain the same. The leader doesn't want you to raise a finger to ask a question. Dissent becomes not acceptable in the system. That's what happens. The longer anyone stays in power, the more he feels that he should remain in power. Staying out of power becomes a no go area. Why should I leave? If I leave, all these things I've done will end. I mean, they will collapse. The system will collapse because at this point, he has been made by praise singers, by loyalists to feel that without him, the state will collapse. So, what do leaders do at this time? They rewrite the rules. The constitution of the state is rewritten. They bend the rules and they also delay transitions. They do this not because they are strong, but because they are afraid. They are afraid of life after power. This is happening in many countries. We have seen it in history. We have seen it over the decades. How leaders cling, they want to remain in power. They hold on to it tenaciously. No one wants to leave. But the sad truth is that the end is usually not a good one. It ends on a sour taste. Leaders who fall in love with power underestimate the reaction of the people. They underestimate the anger of the people. They underestimate loyalty. And when the end comes, when the fall, the ultimate fall comes, they fall. They lose everything. Those who they thought were loyal disappear. The praises end. The drums stop beating. The cheers stop beating. Cheers turn to jeers. And the leader is shocked, shocked beyond words. He asks himself, how did this happen? How did I fall from grace this suddenly? But the fact in all of this is that power doesn't destroy leaders. It actually lures them to believe that they are special. They are really special until that end comes. Because power is temporary. It stays temporary. Leaders may think that they have held it for life, but power doesn't stay forever. If this video made you to think differently about power and leadership, please subscribe to the Media Periscope. My name is Teve Akase.